Get ready for the ultimate trip. Here's your look at the upcoming release of the Star Race 2001 A Space Odyssey Defo Reel Series Discovery Astronaut. Star Race will be releasing Defo Reel series from the iconic Stanley Kubrick science fiction movie 2001 A Space Odyssey. This film inspired an entire generation of filmmakers and set the standard for special effects movies. The designs from the film are still cutting edge, and Star Race is proud to present a new series of Defo Reel figures featuring the astronauts from 2001. First thing we're going to do is figure out how tall these Discovery astronauts stand from the new Star Race Defo Reel series. I'd also like to send a big thank you to the folks over at Star Race who were nice enough to send over not only this one, but also the silver and blue astronaut that we looked at in the previous review. Again, if you're looking to pick up these ones for yourself, but big fan of 2001 A Space Odyssey, yeah, me too, you should be able to start seeing these surface Q1 2020, so they really should start popping up right now. Various online stores are also selling these singular for about a little over $50 or so. Nonetheless, though, according to my trusty tape measure, you're looking at the Defo Reel Discovery astronauts, each one of them, I mean, as they share similar heights and bodies, you're looking at the figure standing 5.5 inches in height. In centimeters, that works out to be 14 centimeters exactly. This also marks the second box set that we had a look at. The first set consisted of the silver and of the blue. We'll go ahead and bring those in. As you can see, they very much share very similar things from one another, height being obviously one of them. Their helmets are also very similar to one another, if not identical to one another, other than the view screen. The front dome of their helmets are going to have a different scene depicted on the front. This is really clever by simply just changing the scenes out on the front of their visors. It already makes them unique to one another. I mean, they easily could have just made the visors black, but I think really the appeal of all of these is the fact that each one of the visors have a unique taken scene from the film. All three of these, I say three being the red, the yellow, and the blue, share very similar front consoles, whereas really then the silver stands out a bit more because it has a different front keypad or different pad on the front of its suit, and its backpack will be changed as well. And we'll look at those also in a second, but let's get a closer look at the red and the yellow Discovery astronauts. So these are staction pieces. In other words, they don't have moving components to it. As we had looked at with the earlier set, the only thing that really does move on either one of these is the feet, just so you can position them back and forth if you want to have a little bit more of a wider stance. No accessories also are included in this other than just the pamphlet that also came included with the other set. It's basically just an instruction sheet giving you a quick summarized idea of what colors are available, the white, the red, the yellow, and the blue, and as well just a little warning to take care of any small parts that are on these pieces. As again, you have a lot of these little intricate things that we'll look at in a second. We'll just put that to the side. We'll first look at the red Discovery suit, and then we'll venture our way exploring further by having a look, of course, at the yellow suit. Now again, for this, I want to also bring in the silver astronaut suit because I had mentioned that the console is a little bit different on the front, and yes, in fact, it is. The helmet is pretty much identical, other than, again, a change of paint, different change of molded plastic, and again, the view screen, the dome visor will have a different scene specific to the suit. The console, though, on the front is a little bit more wider. This is the exact same console, actually. The front little keypad, it's not quite a keypad, but the little control console there on the front is also identical to the one that was with the blue. Don't believe me? Well, we can go ahead and bring in, shame on you, by the way, that you don't believe me. You can see that they are, in fact, identical to one another. And along with them being identical, technically, okay, maybe that's not 100% true. The little cord here, I just covered the screen, but the little cord right here happens to be sitting up, whereas the one on the blue was pointing down. But other than that, I mean, they are identical to one another. These are, of course, things you want to be very careful of when handling the piece. That things like these little small handles, the little small coils that come out from the front here and make their way again over to those legs. You want to be really careful that you don't clip those and tear them away from where they're lodged or connected to one another there. We spin it around, and again, the backpack is, again, the same familiar sight that we saw with the blue one. By this point, I mean, all the three suits outside the realm of the silver are all going to be, of course, like in the film, sharing the exact same components. So things that you saw before in the blue, you should probably be experiencing a sense of deja vu when you are looking at ones like these ones. I really like the coloring on these. They're very vibrant. The red is exceptionally really liking the red. I'm trying to really pinpoint which one I like the most. I feel like I'm still sort of leaning towards the blue one as being my favorite of the four. But the red one definitely has a lot of cool stuff going for it, especially for the fact of you got the scene-specific reflection off of the visor. This is a really neat touch. And again, I'm glad that they did this. Sure, they could have easily just given us a full black visor, or maybe one better, they could have also made it a clear visor, or somewhat translucent visor, where you actually saw the head inside. But I think really for an instance like this, if you're going to be making these figures as more just staction pieces than anything else, why not take a scene from the movie and have it as a reflective surface? It works well for an astronaut suit, and certainly from 2001, I think it's fitting the fact that they would include something like this, as opposed to just a simple singular color of paint. So again, you've got that scene, very cool, reflecting on the front of various series of rainbow colors splashing their way in front of our eyes. Other than that, though, the suit itself is pretty much, like I said, identical to the other ones, other than the placement of the arms. As you'll see, we'll just bring in the silver one again. The silver one had the arm extended forward with the one arm draping to the side. The only one actually that is a little bit different is the yellow one, in the sense that the arms are both pointed forward, whereas most of these, even like if you look at the blue one both have, well, the red and the blue have the arm draped down to the side, the right side, that is. A lot of cool paint that's been incorporated into this piece. Not only are we getting that really nice sharp red color, like a fire engine red color, but then you have all these little tiny things like patches, for example. Now, on the helmet, of course, you have a larger space to work with, so you can really make out the wording, and you can see, of course, the logo being represented here. But the fact that they were able to pull that off even on the smaller size, and it keeps just as much the detail that the larger one was able to do, just again on a smaller scale, is really quite impressive. Again, you got that nice black wash that's been running through like all those little creviced areas here to really make some of those sculpted pieces, the arms, the legs, for example, really stand out. He does have the silver, or more like dark gray, very blue-based gray boots, which are about only the thing that rotates. That's the only articulation point on all of these figures. It's just the feet. In a way, I kind of hope that the arms could have rotated, but again, at the end of the day, like, these are really more based for staction. The idea is they're supposed to be delivering, when you look at them, a presence to them, as we've seen in the past with things like the King Kong pieces, for example. Now, usually in those instances, you had King Kong in the middle of something. He was fighting something. Here you're kind of just getting more the mood, and I think really that's where it's successful. For example, like the fact that they did use a screenshot on the visor. This is kind of where you really get, where it doesn't have as much action going in the poses, it delivers then instead by having the print done on the front. And I really, again, like that. The yellow is very vibrant, almost the color of a lemon. And again, like, you've got the same sort of texture details with some nice little silver accents done on the sides. And again, you've got that front section of the suit done in a very nice orange color with all the individual knobs and dials very, very intricately painted. Again, there's a few little things you want to be careful of. The sides, the tube, for example, and even the wire, the little tubing that runs from the leg to the back of the backpack here are all things you really want to be careful of. Especially like this part right here worries me the most. Thank goodness you don't have to worry about moving anything on this. As I said, there's nothing that's articulated on the piece at all, so you really don't have to worry that if you moved it, it would pull this and potentially break it. Again, my hardest thing for all of these pieces, I'm a big fan of 2001 Space Odyssey, is really pinpointing which one is my favorite. We'll bring in the silver, and we'll bring in the previously looked at blue. All of them, of course, have the merits going for them. All of them have unique styles to them, and all of them have unique scenes specific to their domes. I think when it's all said and done, I think my takeaway is probably I like the blue one the most. That's my personal preference. I think just, again, for the scene and for the fact that the blue is a really nice contrast to the scene that they pulled for the front visor. I think, personally speaking, the blue one might be my favorite of the bunch. But let me know down below in the comments section what you guys think. Is your favorite from the new 2001 A Space Odyssey, the Defo Real series from the folks over at Star Ace? Personally, I love it when companies are able to acquire licenses for films that existed decades ago. I mean, after all, if you think about it, if you're a 2001 Space Odyssey fan, and back in the day, if you were traveling to the theaters to watch this film, what would have existed for merchandise? Maybe posters, maybe t-shirts, and that's about it. The fact that a company like Star Ace, for example, can acquire a license for 2001 means they can explore brand new worlds. And that starts with Defo Real series, the Discovery Astronauts. Small little compact versions of the suits that appeared in the film. They're Defo Real, so of course they're over proportioned in the head. Larger in the head, smaller in the body. It's certainly right up my alley. I've reviewed a whole bunch of the Defo Real in the past. Generally, those are more action-packed in the sense that when we've looked at characters like King Kong, they were in the middle of a tussle. They were action posed. These ones are a little bit more staction in the sense that they're just standing there. But I think really where the trade-off now has happened, because they're not doing a whole lot, Star Ace got creative with being able to put the screenshots or scenes from the film and put them on the domed visors, sort of so you feel like you're experiencing the film all over again. I think these are really fantastic little pieces. And the neat thing about them, again, is they don't take up a whole lot of space at all. With collections growing and space dwindling every moment, it's nice to be able to get collectibles that you can just put out on display. And like I said, they don't take up a whole lot of space at all. If you guys are fans of 2001 A Space Odyssey like I am, and you are looking to pick up these ones for yourself, you should know that these are available in Q1 of 2020. So they're either now going to start popping up, or they're going to start circulating right now as we speak. You can also either buy these in 2-packs like we looked at right here, or I've seen some online sites selling or pre-ordering single versions of the suits at around $50 to $54, with again a slated release of Q1 2020. I want to send a big thank you, though, to the folks over at Star Ace who were nice enough to send these early my way so that I was able to showcase these guys to you, the humbled viewers. If you are new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. If you are new to this channel, make sure you hit that bell notification. And most definitely, if you are new to this channel, keep your peepers peeled, because there's going to be a whole lot of other Star Ace reviews coming your way. And also, hey now, if you want to go back and have a look at some of the other Star Ace pieces that I've reviewed up to this point and beyond, well, check out my Star Ace playlist. It will give you everything that we've reviewed, from the various different Harry Potter films, the Defo Real series, and so much more. You'll find it all in the Star Ace playlist. As always, guys, thanks for watching as you always do, and I'll see you guys next time.